Welcome to today's live. You may have been noticing that I've been going outside of my comfort zone and outside of my hours of regular scheduled content because expansive feels good and because I've been inviting people who have influenced my journey, my glow up, my healing, my coming back into connection with who I really am, and who I want to be, and the kind of business I want to have, the kind of clients I want to attract, the kind of things I want to support. I've been inviting them in to speak on what their magic is and why that's so important. And so today, in a few minutes, someone who I started following just because I was like, wow, she seems like a lot of fun, is going to pop on and tell us about their secret sauce. So you see, the title of this is Be You and Be Seen. One of the scariest things for us is to be seen as our authentic selves. Why? Why? I mean, like, I know why. We think, no one's gonna like it. No one's gonna love me. They're gonna think I'm annoying. And if they reject, like, the parts of me that are silly, then they're really rejecting me. And that's no. 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 My worth is not validated by other people's opinions. You know, you're valuable because you exist. Ta-da! So, what we're going to chat about today that I'm very, very excited about is how to show up as you and why that really matters and all the things attached to that. My wife left a toilet paper roll in the background, and I'm just going to leave that there for authenticity's sake. Hey, Deborah Lynn, how's it going? We're just waiting for Steph from West Rose Media to pop on. Today we're talking about, like, embracing your weird, or embracing your quirks, or the things that make you magic, the things that make you shine, all of those things, and how the fact that my, like, wife left a toilet paper where I need to go live. And I'm going to leave it there because this is real life and that's hilarious. It's also real life. I still have painter's tape around the top of my bedroom here. So that's also funny. Hey, welcome to the call.
Hey,
I was just doing my classic rambling Cheryl thing until Instagram tells you that I'm going live and you come.
hmm
And full disclosure, everyone watching now and on playback, this is not a paid plug. I reached out to Stephanie and was like, hey, do you want to talk about this thing that you're really great at articulating because you are? And in the pitch, I was actually like, hey, can you come and talk about authenticity, showing up as yourself? And then I was like, blah, 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 stuff, blah, blah. And
blah, blah, blah.
I knew that you'd know what I meant.
Yes.
And that you're busy. We're both busy. So why add 4 paragraphs if I know it's just about timing? So
Yeah.
wanted to bring you on so that my followers who don't follow you yet can understand how transformative, impactful, I don't know, like freeing it can be to just be yourself online. Right? We went through the
Yeah.
social media phase of social media is brand new. We all need to be polished and perfect. And this isn't sustainable. My identity. And now we're coming out the other end where nobody likes plastic people anymore. Yeah. So feel free to just take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank
Who
you for
are you?
having
Why do
me.
you matter?
I appreciate it. This is super fun. I go live sometimes by myself, but it's way more fun, like interactive with somebody else. I like it. Thank you. Yes, I think that social media got really, really wrapped up in what you think you're supposed to look like. And the thing about not being yourself is that it is insanely exhausting. Trying to keep up something that isn't you, and then you forget exactly what you're supposed to be, and then a little bit of you slips out and they have to like take it back and like say no, never mind, no, that wasn't me, no. And
Just
then
kidding. I'm not weird.
right, it's exhausting, especially as an adult, when, like, kids, like, they feel like more free to be themselves, but adults, you're like, oh my god, I gotta look professional and I gotta look pleasing and I got to look sexy and I got to look all these things. You're like, I can't be all these things. It's impossible. Yeah. And then when you actually start shedding those things, you start like getting these like adrenaline kicks. You're like, oh my God, I'm being me. She's amazing. Holy shit. Look at her go. And then it gets scary again. And then it feels good. And then it gets scary. And it's like this up and down.
Yes,
you know?
I would agree with that. Like when you accidentally show up as yourself and a piece of content you didn't plan goes viral and you're like, do they know that I'm weird?
It's me. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when somebody from your real life sees your internet persona and you're like, oh, shit.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Because I talk about everything on here. I'm very careful not to spill beans that I could be, you know, legally held culpable for. But I talk about everything on here. And some of my, like, I'd say colleagues, we're not exactly coworkers. I work in the arts and I rub shoulders with a lot of folks. And they're like, how do you show up like that online? And I'm like, okay, pretend you're not seeing it on Instagram. Is it any different, aside from the energy level in my voice, than how I am in person? And they're like, yeah. Well, you swear less. I'm like, Instagram police don't like cussing.
Yes, they do not. And that is very hard for me.
Yeah, so I took part in the Spark the Creative, which you're doing again, like toot sweet, like the end of this week, right?
Yep.
And the thing that I really appreciated about that is I had gotten into that space where I couldn't tell what was pretend, what I was trying on to see if I liked it, and what was like me for real. I had got a lot of followers. Like I went from 126 to over 1,000 in the space of a couple months without doing anything. And then I started to panic because I got stagnant. But the reason I got stagnant is because I was trying to create what I thought people wanted to see instead of just being myself. And yeah. The wonderful thing that I would love you to talk about is the process of kind of like resetting that. So without giving away all of your thing, I really think people should invest in this because I don't have a ton of money, but I gave my money a job and the return on investment already has been huge. Like I've been invited to 2 summits, to speak at 2 summits. I'm launching like several evergreen programs, and the the platform that I've got was given to me for free by someone because they see my potential. And the only reason they see my potential was the questions that you ask in the way that you ask them helped me to like get out of my own way. So go ahead.
First of all, that is amazing. I am so freaking proud of you. Just watching everybody like go through it was amazing. Like, you know what it's like when you build something and then you hope it works and then it does. I just like sat there like the whole time like, oh my God, it's working. It's working. So yeah, right. I felt amazing. So yeah, basically like finding out, okay, who am I and what the hell do I want to say and why does it matter is so much the base. I think people think, okay, I need something pretty, I need something sellable, I need something that other people like, but they have no idea what the base is. And, you know, like to use an overused cliche, it's like building a sandcastle and then like really hoping you can live there. It doesn't freaking work.
Yeah, we try to skip the work part. And just get right on to the selling.
Everything. And it's like the most infuriating thing in the entire universe is that literally everything comes down to doing the work. Like just, I don't know if you've listened to Brene Brown often, but I obsessively listen to her. And she says that one time she was mad at somebody because they did something stupid and she just yelled at them, do your inner work. And I'm like, yes, right? Like just.
That's me as a coach.
All of it comes down to, hey, do I know what I'm talking about? Who the heck am I? And why does it matter? Like, why are we doing this? What is the whole point? And you have to keep readjusting that because it changes. Like maybe your offerings change or maybe what you're doing changes, right? Like I went from just doing photography to now doing way more teaching. And I had to redo all of this, right? Like, what's the point? Who am I? And also, me changed a lot the last little bit, right? Like 1 year ago, I wasn't even out. Like, I was just like,
I
everything's
mean,
fine. And everyone who knew
I
me was
have
like,
a sneaky suspicion you did kind of have the trademark haircut.
it's right. It's all part of the process. But, you know, until you're willing to actually say, who you are and what you're doing and why it matters, people don't know. So they make assumptions, right? Like people make all
Hmm.
sorts of assumptions about all sorts of things. I have people asking me questions and I'm like, what? And the more clear I get on who I am and what I'm doing, the less weird questions like that I get. 2 years ago, I got all sorts of very, very weird questions and requests because I wasn't clear on who I was, what I was doing, and, the whole plan. But now that
Yeah.
I'm way more clear, like this is what I do, this is why I do it, this is who I am. The people who don't like it, they bugger off. Cool, awesome. And
Yes,
the
I
people
had
who
a
do like it,
grand exodus at
yeah,
the first week that we, because Spark the Creative is like 10 days long technically, but most of us take longer to do it. The first 5 days I had a massive exodus and I'm almost back to where I was. But now, aside from the random bot accounts, everyone who's following me I know wants to be there. And that is so much more freeing and so much more safe, I guess, to fully be myself and to like block without telling anyone. Just be like, no, bye. But I had
yeah,
had a habit of just accepting whatever client came to me instead of the ones that I was for. And
yeah,
doing the challenge really helps. Like the reason I signed up for the challenge wasn't because of the challenge. It's not like I'm not confident, right? The reason I signed up for the challenge, and like full embarrassment if it makes you feel weird, is that I just loved watching you enjoy being yourself and doing it like to the nth degree. Like full disclosure, I know that we're not all high energy all the time, but in your videos when you're like, I was like, yes, that's what I want to do. Okay, how do I do it? Because I'm goofy like that in real life. I
hmm,
started lip sync battle here back when I was like 300 pounds, and I would show up and dance to like Can't Stop the Feeling with like a Bible camp version choreographed dance where I put sunshine in my pocket, and I'm all like, and
oh
like
my
I
god,
started that here before I had an online persona, before I even really knew anyone here. Like I'm always doing weird shit. That's who I am. I helped my friend and I co-wrote a holiday themed drag show. And it was ridiculous. It was 19 plus, and there were so many puns. So many. I was just like a nut job. And I do that stuff, but I wasn't translating it onto here. So there was like the disconnect. And so um, I guess the last real question I want to ask, and then you can just like tell everyone about your program, is what is professional anymore?
yeah. I think this all again comes back to the work. Professional for you is who are you trying to talk to, right? What are those people, what do you find as like your upper limits of like what you're willing to share and what you're willing to do? And then does it make sense for the people you're trying to reach? So much, I think, of what people think is professional or unprofessional is how you carry yourself. Like you can be, these days, you can be tatted up doing all sorts of things, but if you hold your standards and your boundaries firm, to me, that's being professional because I know what I'm willing to accept and I'm willing to do. And if you're not willing to hold with that, okay, then we can't work together. And to
Yeah.
me, that's the new level of professionalism. It has nothing to do with a suit, although I love a good suit. It's all about your boundaries, what you're willing to do, and being authentic, I think.
Boundaries. Just kidding. I have an entire YouTube series about boundaries back before I knew how to be comfortable on camera. The truth is still very good. The production quality, there's a reason it's free. Anyway, so quick or not. Take as much time as you like. Tell people, aside from what I already said, why they should come join you. Because I wasn't intending this to be a plug, but I feel like it should be. Because there's so many folks, and the only piece they're missing is this one. And it's not as hard as we emotionally feel like it is. Like the actual skill behind showing up in yourself as yourself online is not difficult.
No, I think, well, what you've said is amazing. Thank you for saying that, because I think so many people found a lot of value in it, and you've been super vocal about it. So thank you. I appreciate that. I would say that nothing anybody is selling is like new. Nothing is something you couldn't find anywhere. If you wanted to find every single thing I said, you could dig through YouTube and find the exact same thing. What I'm offering is like a little roadmap. Okay, how do we get from here to here? And how do we sort it out so that it makes sense and you can actually accomplish it? You know, same as working out or going on a diet, or I don't like diets, but you know what I mean? Like any kind of plan is getting from A to B, and what the heck do we do in the middle? And then what do we do from there? And to me, that's the most important part, because yeah, I have so often, I love like research and finding things out. And so often I've been like in the rabbit hole. I'm like, okay, I have 1,000 concepts. How do I make this work in my life? Because you can't live in the concept world. You have to live in the real world. Yes. So that's what I feel like this is. It's a roadmap saying, okay, these are the things. We're going to do the things, and we're going to hold each other accountable. And at the end, you'll have done a thing. Look, you did the thing. And if you didn't sign up for something, you don't do the thing. Nobody does the thing on their own. So that's why I feel like, okay, we put it together. We do it as a group. Because I was originally, before I did it, I was like, well, maybe it should like be at your own pace. But I think the group is like, no, it keeps you going.
If at your own pace worked, none of us would need the program.
Right? Exactly.
We're not like you said, knowing who you're for, we are not the target demographic if it's at your own pace.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
So I absolutely have like at your own pace and drip courses that I'm going to do, but I'm still going to do the exact same courses live, because I know that what I teach is for both groups of people, because I have both groups of people showing up in my one-on-one coaching. There's the person who's like, okay, I'm ready. Here's all of my problems. Help me sort them. And I'm like, okay. And then I get the other person who's like, I don't know, everything is hard. I'm like, okay. I teach them both the exact same thing.
Same thing.
It's just one takes like a little more bite-sized pieces than the other.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm sure you've noticed a difference because I see you Insta stalking me. But like I feel so much more comfortable to try things and then try them like 2 or 3 times and then let them die if it's like not working, or to like change it up. And I won like in this other challenge that I signed up for immediately after you. It was like the systems part. Ta-da. I won like a package with like a really good camera with like a really good ring light, and I'm so excited to make videos. Don't suck. Yeah, because I don't know, if anyone hasn't seen your content, they just need to go. Bearing in mind that you are a professional photographer and shit, but lighting is very important.
Very, yes.
It's also not cheap. So winning a light with like, for my program that's coming up. It's so exciting.
Right. That's amazing.
Like, who did your photos? I'm like, me. And my wife in the woods on a rainy day when the light was diffused. Yeah. So, what has been the biggest challenge and the biggest reward since fully embracing your weirdness? Like, and I mean, you're kind of weird. Like, standing on the counter, singing into shit while doing the dishes. Weird. Like, you're kind of weird. I like it.
Yes. I think the biggest challenge was realizing that the biggest challenge was just deciding to do it. Just deciding to, okay, I'm just going to be me. And the biggest reward, I guess, is that nobody that I actually love ditched when I became my true self. The only people who ditched were the people who didn't like me before, and I could not please them, even when I was trying to be the picture perfect little, you should have seen me. I was such a good little country farmhouse wifey, do the
Yeah, I know where
dinners and
you're
the
from.
baby showers. Oh my God.
I went to
I,
Bible
I
college
was,
in Smith, okay?
I was the perfect little late. I had fucking extensions down past my tits. I had everything. I was that
You
guy.
didn't say the word tits.
I didn't, sorry. But you know what I mean. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
like
I
I
do.
tried so hard to be perfect. And as soon as I ditched that, all the people who truly loved me were like, oh, thank God. And all the people who didn't like me anyways were like, bye. And now I don't have to try hard for them anymore.
And they were like, I knew I didn't like her.
Right?
Okay, bye, peace
Cool.
out. This
Yeah.
isn't an
Thank you.
airport. Don't
Next.
announce your departure. Okay.
Right.
But how did it feel to like be fully embraced though? Because I think that's the fear, is that so many of us don't want to show up as ourselves because we're afraid that people are going to reject us. But the rejection that we're already experiencing is the lie that we're trying so hard to embody. And the reason anxiety, depression, stress is way worse. I'm not saying it cures it, but it does make it a lot easier to carry. You have a little handbag instead of rolly luggage of baggage. You're welcome.
I'm keeping that
next,
one.
next time you have an anxiety attack, you're just going to be like,
It's Prada.
hot anxiety. Oh my God.
Yeah, I absolutely, the fear of the thing is way worse than the thing in again, in everything. Because what I thought, I used to lay in bed and think, I will actually die if everybody finds out who I am. And that was way, way worse than the teeny tiny chunks of rejection I've gotten.
And the
It's
rejection, when you're being authentic, they're not actually rejecting you. They're
no,
rejecting authenticity.
yeah. And
Because
most of the
people
time it's
who are
because
secure don't give a shit.
and so much of the time it's because they have some dirty secret that they're like, how dare you be yourself? Because then that gives me permission and I'm not ready for permission.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that's the biggest thing. Because
So if you're
yeah,
watching this now or you're watching the replay and you're like, ew, I can't do that. Yes, you can, I promise.
yes, yes, you can. You
Two
can and
years
you should.
ago, 2 years ago, I was 305 pounds. Not that that matters, but I was eating my feelings instead of feeling them. And I was lying in my dark room. I'll just like, no, I won't turn this around because, yeah, I will. Okay. So I have blackout curtains on my window, and I have this glorious, beautiful ocean view, okay? And I used to hide in my bed, which you can't see, it's like beside me, and under the blankets for all hours of the day at home while my now wife was at work because I was so depressed. I was so ashamed. I hated myself. I didn't want to be seen. I felt like I had to perform in order to exist in public, online, at school, in the world, whatever. And then the pandemic kind of helped me just be like, okay, fuck that shit. But it's not worth that amount of pain. So if folks are watching this now or later and they're tired of feeling like that, whether or not they have a business, this is a really good program. And I didn't know that I was going to share about that. But obviously someone's going to watch this later and they're going to sign up and they're going to be like, my life is a dark abyss. um, sorry, but not in advance
No,
for that.
get it out. That is exactly right.
Well, I hope you have a full roster for this program. Absolutely. Thank you for coming on and sharing that. I feel everyone go follow Stephanie. And maybe like try to do the low budget version of one of her reels. I'd be really interested to see. Oh, I do have a question that's like completely unrelated.
Okay.
How do you make a reel with you and you in the reel? Is it like
Oh,
green screen or something?
yeah, it's an app called Video Leap.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm
And you
like,
film it twice and you talk to your invisible self. It's a really good practice in, speaking to yourself.
well, I just feel like I could have a lot of fun with that because I'm a cheeky little shit. So
Yeah, it's really fun. You should try it.
okay, I will. So I'm gonna let you go and have fun with your day, and yeah, keep shouting other people's journeys from the rooftops. We really appreciate it. Bye for now.
Bye. See ya.